Happy New Year, happy 2024, CGC family. I know you haven't heard from me in a minute. Been a couple of personal things going on. Been a little sick, in the course of the holidays. And I don't do this for the money. So um, I really do this because, it's a myriad of things. I care about the perceived mental issues I see in the space of gaming. There's people who these identity politics you guys have with these plastic boxes. Some of you guys need help, and hopefully, me talking to you like an uncle who kind of gives a damn will give you a little bit of clarity and say, hey man, maybe I'm being a little bit foolish. And boy, oh boy, 2024 has started off with a lot of foolishness. You're going to notice some different things about the channel. I want to talk about more broad subjects because, in my opinion, based on what I've seen and based on what I kind of know is coming, you're going to start seeing a melding of industries. You're going to start seeing more movies turn into games, more games turn into movies, more TV shows turn into games, and so on and so forth. Entertainment's kind of becoming a singular entity, so to speak. We're going to get more into tech reviews, things of that nature. A lot is coming. Trust me, I BS you not. But the new year has already gotten pretty interesting in the world of gaming. Let's see. We pretty much closed out the year with Microsoft owning uh, Activision Blizzard and finding out that Starfield was top 10 selling game of the year. Baldur's Gate finally launched on the Xbox and was actually, I believe, top 3 on Xbox. I think it still is now. Uh, Sold better on Xbox, it was seen, than it did on PlayStation, which is really crazy when you think about it. But anybody who really understood what the PlayStation guys were bragging about when it came to that game understand that it was just a matter of it being exclusive. It was never a matter of them actually liking turn-based, pure original style RPGs, actual RPGs, because you know the bad habit that a lot of people have is they see a company like a Bethesda or I don't know any other company, EA with Mass Effect. You see them. Oh, okay. Here's you can make a character and then you can slap numbers in these categories and then you can pick these abilities once you hit this certain level. It's an RPG. No, it's not. No, it's not. An RPG in its purest form plays like Baldur's Gate or the game they made before that, which was Divinity Original Sin 1 and 2, or Obsidian's game, what is it, Pillars of Eternity, stuff like that, or the original Baldur's Gate games, or the original Dragon Age or KOTOR. Those are RPGs. Starfield is like kind of far from that, which is why when you hear some goofball comparing Starfield to Baldur's Gate, the person doesn't know what the hell they're talking about. They're two completely different kinds of games. They should not be compared for that reason. I don't care if they did come out at the same time. I don't care what Bethesda tells you. Oh, it's an RPG because you can make choices. And no, it's not an RPG. It's not. It's an action game with RPG elements. If having stats and making conversational choices makes you an RPG, then what the hell is NBA 2K? Because you can make choices and you pad stats in that as well. But that's a stupid sports game, right? That's what those same guys will tell you. Exactly. Dumb logic. Anyway, off that, because that one's been irking me for a minute. Uh, let's see. We had the Game Awards come and go, and it looks like Kojima has once again dove into uh, the idea of making his Silent Hill style game, except for now, obviously, it won't be Silent Hill because Silent Hill is being made by another developer and it's owned by Konami, and Konami hates that guy. So he brought along Jordan Peele and a bunch of other celebrities, and he's making some kind of game that's going to use the cloud and be in the horror genre for Xbox. I am going to be upfront with you. I do not like that man's games. I think the only thing that he has ever touched that I've even remotely enjoyed was the Castlevania Lords of Shadows games, and I really only liked the very first one. That one was cool. The second one was okay. The one on DS was, or 3DS was meh. Not a big fan of his, but I think it's a huge get for Xbox. It's going to be, it's a Kojima game. It's going to be one of those games I think either people love or hate. We finally got gameplay of Senua's Saga, and it looks good. It kind of reminds me, the combat anyway, reminds me of the Callisto Protocol. But it seems like it's going to be some real up close dodging, swinging, dodging, swinging. Hopefully, it's a little bit more varied than that game, because I think that was one of the big problems people had with that game, was that the combat was kind of stale. Outside of the technical issues, of course, on every platform but PlayStation. So, we'll see how that one goes. But it could be. Damn, if it doesn't look good, if anything, it's going to be a graphical showcase, right? And then let's see, what else? What else was at the? Oh yeah, Sony showed off. I think they showed Stellar Blade at the Game Awards. Was it Stellar Blade and some other third-person action game where you hit square a billion times? Oh, the DLC for God of War and Final Fantasy 16. So yeah, I was right on the money with that. And forgive my crass attitude toward it. Look, I enjoyed God of War 2019. I am actually in the middle of playing God of War Ragnarok now because, I have a life and a job and late to the party and so on and so forth. Yada, yada, whatever. I am enjoying the game. I don't hate the God of War games, but Sony needs to find another hill to die on, because this is getting kind of old. Like, there's no reason I should not have played Horizon Forbidden West yet, but it's just like every game that they make that I've played is the same, and it's really tough spending a combined total of 300 to 400 hours doing it. Like, I literally beat God of War, stopped for a while, then Platinum Horizon, stopped for a while, then Platinum Ghost of Tsushima, and I have not gone back until this new God of War, because it's just like I feel like I'm playing the same damn thing over and over again. Parry, dodge, hide in the grass, throw shit, like hit the button a bunch of times, swing until the icon pops over him, kill him. Like, it's they gotta get some diversity in that fucking lineup, because it's getting really, really boring. And it's like I actually 100% the achievements for Dead Island 2 on Xbox Series, and I'm working on doing it on PlayStation because I fucking love that game. I love the gameplay loop of it. In this video, I actually might mix a little gameplay up from my time playing that in here. It's a really good game. I suggest you guys get like 2 friends together and run through it. It's an awesome game. But yeah, man, like Sony needs to diversify their lineup, because the shit's getting boring. It's getting old. Haven't started Spider-Man yet. Am kind of still playing Spider-Man 1 on a PS4 Pro, because I want to complete that 100%. It's a lot of stuff to find. It's kind of like Crackdown for me, where it's like I gotta do it. So it's that, and I guess the Game Awards pretty much came down to the few games I talked about. There was nothing else really special. Baldur's Gate won Game of the Year. Surprise, surprise. Spider-Man didn't win shit. Surprise, surprise. No one saw that coming. Starfield didn't get nominated for shit because, surprise, surprise. That game had too many things going against it. Chief amongst which is that it is quite literally, and I think you guys heard me say this before, it is Microsoft's Death Stranding. It is Microsoft's prodigal Kojima game, where it's just like you either gonna love it or you're gonna hate it. And then you got the weird fuckers who are playing it for 2, 3, 400 hours and then rating it low on Steam and saying it was boring, so it wasn't boring for 300 hours, and then it got boring. Right. And that's the second thing that game had going against it. There's a lot of people in the press. We could talk about the Xbox tax stuff a little bit since we're kind of reviewing the last year, but we really want to focus on the new year in a second. The Xbox tax thing seems kind of real when you consider the fact that you got these dumbass reviews that are like 300-400 hours played, but the game's boring, the game sucks. Even on like on my Xbox Series, I have that game tagged to my front page, so I can see highlights and clips from it and news from it when I scroll down on my Xbox. And when I go and look at some videos of like somebody killing like 8 soldiers with a sniper rifle from like far distance out, you'll see a fucking comment, some goofball, oh, it's boring, this game sucks, I can't believe you're playing it. Why are you taking your time to do that? I'm almost convinced that a lot of these motherfuckers are PlayStation fanboys, council morons, who, and believe it or not, it's motherfuckers this weird out here. They'll buy a PlayStation, they'll buy an Xbox, they literally like PlayStation, but they'll get on Xbox, they'll pay Microsoft for a Game Pass subscription, or they'll buy a copy of Starfield just to say, oh, this game's terrible and shit on it. It's the same stupidity as like, and I'm going to give my age out here, when NWA was popular and those fucking morons would go to the record store and buy the albums and then break them in the street. Well, you just fucking bought every copy of the NWA album in the store. So you're actually helping them. You're not making it better, you're making it worse. And I made a video about that late last year, 2023. I was talking about, like, dude, there's no such thing as negative press, especially when it comes to consumer products, especially in the age of engagement. So, I don't know. It's just a bunch of stupid behavior from stupid people who really don't understand that, you can't stop these large corporate machines. They are going to do what they want, when they want, how they want. And if you really want to stop them, you have to ignore them. Like Starfield, I think ended up being the most talked about game. It ended up being the most played RPG with the most hours, 40 hours per player, some ridiculous number like that. But it has these terrible reviews on Steam and no one likes it. It's like something ain't right. There's some kind of tax in there. I don't know if it's Xbox tax. It could be Bethesda tax. I don't know. There's some kind of tax in there. So that's pretty much 2023. 2023 really pretty much boiled down to Starfield and Baldur's Gate, people being fucking stupid. 2024, however, has kind of started on an interesting note. Rumors of Microsoft becoming a third party, and then further strengthened by the idea that Microsoft may or may not be putting some big first party title on PlayStation or Nintendo Switch 2 or 1, possibly even. The rumor is that it's Hi-Fi Rush. I've heard Pentiment. I've heard there was one other game I heard it might be. It could be Ori on PlayStation, because Ori hasn't been on PlayStation yet. Ori's only been on Switch. There's like 3 or 4 games it could possibly be. Hell, it could be Starfield on PlayStation. Who knows? But I don't think Starfield was in the Game of the Year discussion like that. And this game apparently was. I'll say this. Because now you got these fucking Xbox guys raising the stink about that. Well, what about the identity of what about the identity of the fucking Xbox? What is the identity? The identity of the Xbox right now is Microsoft likes to make money. Microsoft likes to make money. The same motherfuckers who rooted for Microsoft to buy Activision and rooted for Microsoft to buy Bethesda do not understand that before Microsoft bought these companies, those games were everywhere. Let me say it again. Before Microsoft bought them, those games were everywhere. Now, one of these companies was on the downtrend when it came to making revenue, but one of them was still doing pretty well. They just had a bunch of controversies with sexual harassment, racism, perceived death threats, yada, 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 a bunch of fucked up shit. So leadership had to be shifted out. And by the way, we're getting rid of the fucking company too. We're going to sell it. Fine, whatever. If the biggest game, the two biggest games that Microsoft makes come out on PlayStation and will come out on Nintendo Switch, one of them already does. Why the fuck are you guys upset about Hi-Fi Rush? Like, getting mad that Hi-Fi Rush may not be exclusive, but then saying, oh, Call of Duty is not going to be exclusive to Xbox. We don't care. It's fucking crazy. One of those games makes billions of dollars every year. The other one did really good from February to about June. Take a wild guess which one is which. Right? Like, Microsoft isn't going to become a third-party publisher. They're going to be everything. That's what a lot of the small-minded Xbox fanboys and the goofy-ass PlayStation ponies don't understand. It's like, bro, they're going to be everything. They're going to put certain games on PlayStation, certain games on Switch. They're going to keep publishing Minecraft and Call of Duty shit on everything. When they do get Blizzard to make a console version of World of Warcraft, they're going to put it on PlayStation and Switch. You know what I'm saying? So don't be fucking upset about that. It's not, why would they make that exclusive to Xbox? Why would you only put the console version of what was once the biggest game in the world on a console that's only sold like 10 to 15 million units, when there's a whole console over there that's already sold 50, and there's another console that's handheld that's ceiling is probably going to be 150 to 200 million? Who does that? I'll tell you who does it. Motherfuckers who don't want to make money. And that ain't Microsoft. Last I checked, Microsoft spent $70 billion on Activision and then got a $90 billion contract from the fucking U.S. military for headsets. These motherfuckers are not here to appease some crowd. Phil Spencer told you in that court case, the whole council war is a fucking made-up construct. You motherfuckers are weird. You're weird. Guys, normal people or people who want some clarity, come in close. Let me tell you something. This council war shit doesn't matter. I'll say it again. This council war shit doesn't matter. Dude, I remember being able to play Afterburner on my NES. I remember when Alter Beast was on the TurboGrafx 16. Those were Sega games. Sega had their own console. Why would they do that? Oh, they wanted to make money. That's why. Fuck, imagine that. A company, a corporation, $1 trillion corporation wanting to make money. Imagine that. What a crazy concept. Let me tell you something, guys. All Microsoft's doing is showing Nintendo and trying to show Sony, look, your way ain't working. Right? Like, I just mentioned console sales, right? And Microsoft's Xbox Series S and X are on the lower end of that. They're in third place. I think PlayStation outsold them 3-1 or some shit. And let's not even talk about the Switch and how much it's outsold both. I say all this to say this. Who fired a bunch of motherfuckers over the Christmas break? Because it wasn't Microsoft. They're not selling boxes, right? They're not selling boxes. Who fired a bunch of motherfuckers? Who closed down studios? One of these companies I just talked about just hired 10,000 people because they spent $70 billion to buy three companies. A mobile company, a primarily PC company, and a fucking console game making company. Another one of these companies closed down like 2 or 3 studios and fired a bunch of motherfuckers. But they sold a whole bunch of plastic boxes. What does that tell you? Maybe selling those boxes don't mean shit. The Last of Us 2 sold 10 million copies. That's fucking terrible. You know how terrible that is? To have a console that has 150 million users and you sold 10 million copies of a fucking game. That's really... Do the math on that. Do the division on that and tell me... Oh, there's Alexa going on. And then tell me if that makes any sense. You tell me if that makes any sense. You tell me if that makes any sense. Right? Because it doesn't. Maybe, just like when they told you that you won't be going to stores to buy games anymore. Just like when they told you there was nothing wrong with a digital assistant. Or there's nothing wrong with your camera controlling your Xbox because you'll have digital assistants in your homes, and now we do. I just had to tell mine to shut the hell up. Maybe they know what they're doing and they know what they're talking about. How many times? And let's roll back a little bit. We're in 2024 when the Xbox originally came out, 2001. Let's go back in time, right? What did they tell you when they launched Xbox Live in, was it 2022 or 2020? Was it 2002 or 2003? I think when they launched Xbox Live, yeah, you have to pay to access our gameplay servers, our online servers. And everybody raised a bitch about, it's bullshit. I already pay for the internet. Why do I need to do that? That's garbage. And Sony says, yeah, guys, we're giving it away for free. That didn't last long, did it? The very next generation, even though Sony had the lead, and Sony was making all of this money because they were selling all of these PS2s. That was the PS2 generation, right? Where they sold all of them PS2s, even though they had the lead, and they sold way more PS2s than there was Xboxes sold. Sony started charging for fucking online play, didn't they? And Nintendo was, oh, we're not doing that. That's bullshit. We're not charging for access to online servers. 2 generations later, they're doing the same damn thing. It might be time to start paying attention to what they're saying instead of dismissing them because you don't like them. Because every time they've done something, every time they said something, it has come to fruition. These motherfuckers aren't speaking because it's a party trick. They're not parrots sitting on a fucking pirate's shoulder. They know what they're talking about. They told you it's better if you pay for access to our online servers on premium games. And everybody eventually did it. They told you that there's nothing wrong with having a digital assistant for your console that will cut it on and record clips for you and stuff like that. And everybody tried to burn them at the stake for it. And now most of you motherfuckers have an Amazon, Google, or Apple digital AI device in your house that cuts on your lights and turns up the fucking heat in the winter. They told you it was happening. They told you, you motherfuckers ain't gonna go to stores and buy games in a plastic box anymore. And you all laughed when Sony made this stupid ass commercial where they were handing each other the DVDs and saying, oh yeah, this is how you trade with your friends. When's the last time you did that? When have any of you fucking done that recently? Stop looking at these motherfuckers like they stupid, man. If they are saying that we're going to put 1 or 2 of our games that we make first party on PlayStation and or Nintendo Switch 1 or 2, they're doing it for a fucking reason. And I personally think the reason is that they want this plastic box shit in because it is stupid. And they're the only ones who realize it. You know why they don't care about selling you a plastic box? You can buy the Series S, you can buy the Series X, but you can also buy a Samsung TV and do the same shit. Because Game Pass is on it. I'm sitting in front of my Samsung TV right now. They came out 2 years before they announced they were going to do it, and they just recently added it to this one. You don't need that shit. And when the internet gets really good and everybody has super high-speed internet, you really won't need that shit. It's pointless. That is happening. That is coming. You can be mad about it. You can deny it. But as Thanos once said, it is inevitable. This is what's coming. When you see these Xbox around about fucking Hi-Fi Rush or whatever game it ends up being on PlayStation. Like, man, Microsoft knows. In a few years, you'll be able to play God of War anywhere. In a few years, you'll be able to play fucking The Last of Us 3 anywhere. Because it's only going to make sense for Sony to launch it on PC and fucking PlayStation at the very least at the same time. It's not going to make any sense to block it to that console when barely anybody buys it. As good as that game is the mastercraft that game is, Naughty Dog should not be firing motherfuckers. They should be twice as big. Naughty Dog should not be canceling games. They should be putting out more games. Yet, here we are. And all they've made in the last few years is a bunch of fucking remakes. So, I'm willing to let them cook. Because they ain't firing nobody. Microsoft's not firing anybody. Sony's the ones closing studios, but they sold 50 million consoles. Sony's the one canceling projects, but they sold 50 million consoles. Right? Sony's the ones who just made a commercial or I guess an ad or a highlight reel talking about all these games that got coming out. Not one of them fucking games is actually made by them. But they sold 50 million units. Nothing in that thing is made by them. Tekken 8's not made by them. Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth, not made by them. None of that shit's made by them. But they made 50 million. They sold 50 million PlayStations. What the fuck is the point? Because Microsoft, it's rumored in about a week or so, is about to have a whole showcase where they're showing off shit that they make, that they own, that they're publishing, and they're probably going to shadow drop something. It's different. Between that and the fact that we might get a new Nintendo this year, I would hope, because I don't think the Switch needs to be around another year as Nintendo's main gaming device, but we'll see. Years turn out to be really interesting. I will be hitting you guys with more content. Things will be more frequent. I promise you that. It's going to be a hell of a year, man, because like this baby on the screen, it's going to be a lot of fucking crying. And a lot of bitching out here. It's going to... Oh, boy. Happy New Year, folks. And I will see you in the next video.